Good evening, folks. Dobra večer. Good evening to the Oz, and welcome to the Oz Cro Soccer Show. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Season 2, Episode 14. In other words, Episode 44 of our long-running, popular weekly podcast, taking a look at everything Australian Croatian football and all the latest news from Croatia with an Australian Croatian perspective. My name's Tonči Prusac. It's an absolute pleasure to be here with you this week, as I am with you every week, and wouldn't be the same without my co-host, Ante Grabovac. Good evening, Ante. Always a pleasure to have your smiley face on the show.
Thank you, Tonči, and thanks for having me. The weeks go by so quickly. Can't believe we're up to that amount of shows already, and yeah, the season keeps going. Yeah, and I'm just elated with last week's reaction. Obviously, a fantastic interview with Daniela Galic and young Matilda there. And, of course, Adrian Vlastelica, captain of Sydney United. And tonight, we've got another big show in the pipeline as well.
Before we talk about tonight, last week, in fact, that show was our second biggest rating show on Facebook Live. And our biggest show, or third, sorry, I do take it back, our third biggest on our YouTube channel as well. So go over to our YouTube channel. If you haven't already, subscribe to our YouTube channel, become a regular watcher, viewer, listener of all of our episodes. And as we did have last week, we also have from time to time edited versions of just the interviews, and we will have that tonight as well. We've got a big show. Ante, we had news earlier tonight, late breaking news. The schedule of the Australia Cup is out. We'll be talking a bit about that later on. We know exactly when each of the four Croatian clubs will be playing, on what days, the venues, and the times as well. So we'll be going through that as well. But mate, you've got a top there from Zagreb Hurstville, and lo and behold, tonight the Sydney Siders, the club from Sydney, Zagreb Hurstville Football Club, they are our club in focus. And mate, we'll be talking to the four of the heavyweights there at the club. Tell us a bit more about who we'll be chatting to tonight.
Yeah, we're very fortunate to have President JOHN GAGRO on this evening, along with the Zagreb Football Academy Director, Steve ZORIC. So they'll be talking about the academy and the association and all things Zagreb. And then we've got two first-grade players in JESSE GAGRO and his brother, Paul GAGRO, who's also the youth TD at the club. So a real family club. And, yeah, I'm really looking forward to discussing all things Hurstville Zagreb this evening.
Now, we've been trying to get a hold of these guys for a couple of weeks now, because I tell you what, I'm really intrigued when clubs, our Croatian Australian Croatian clubs, however you want to call it, when they come up with these academy style programs, because everyone's doing it. All these other clubs are doing it. There's private clubs as well that are doing it. But now when our clubs are doing these type of things, it's absolutely fantastic to see. And since in the last few years, Ante, you'd be able to explain a little bit better, but the club has grown tremendously as far as like the youth side of things, the youth development side of things, becoming a lot more of a structured program style. It's just exciting times at Zagreb, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely right. And I've been involved and seen the club grow exponentially. So it'll be great to chat to all four of our guests this evening, and they'll be able to discuss everything that's going on with the club at the moment.
Yeah, there's a lot of things happening. But before we do get into the news desk and cover everything that is going on, a little bit of a community announcement, I guess, happening down in Victoria this weekend. We had Andy Pascalidis, on the show earlier this year, and he talked about his Heartbeat of Football Foundation, the charitable foundation. For those of you that'd like to know more, go over to the Geelong Region Soccer Show, which is our sister podcast, the YouTube channel, and there was an interview with Andy Pascalidis that I had on Monday in Monday's edition, and he talked about these two activations that are going to be happening at the Croatian clubs this weekend coming. Firstly, at St Albans Dynamo Churchill Reserve on Friday night, and there you have it on the screen from 5:30 through till 9:30. Dynamo are playing their big game there later that evening. I think it's against Port Melbourne, but you'll be able to tell us a little bit later, aren't you? And then the big Croatian derby in Geelong. Now, this game has been moved to a Sunday, amongst other things, to accommodate an expected massive crowd that will turn up. A lot of travelling fans from Melbourne, no doubt. And that will be at 3 p.m. at Elco Park. But the Heartbeat of Football activation kicks off at 11:30 right through till 4:30. The activation basically involves simple, quick and free heart health checks, blood pressure, cholesterol, blood sugar. So you can get that done, and they tell me it takes 5 to 10 minutes, very painless.
Yeah, I did mine about maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago. Andy and his team were there at Valentine Sports Park, and I was there. It was actually a special needs football day, and it's just a couple of minutes. It's just a little prick on your finger, and they tell you how you're going. So it's really, really good.
Yeah, I think I definitely need to. I've had a stressful last couple of months, I tell you what. But I certainly will be putting my hand up.
You need some Vatreniks as well.
Yeah, I don't have a graphic for that, but absolutely. So if you are in Melbourne or Geelong this weekend, be sure to go along to one of the NPL Victoria games involving Croatian clubs, and also be an active part of the Heartbeat of Football. Mate, we're going to take a very, very short break. When we return, it's going to be time for the news desk, and we're going to be looking at the Australian Croatian scene with Ante. Folks, don't go away. It is the Oz Cro Soccer Show, and we are absolutely wrapped like a sarma to have you with us tonight. So don't go away, folks.
Wrapped like a sarma. I love it.
Welcome to Slovicek Studio Architecture. Our approach combines modern design with harmonious solutions tailored to your unique needs. We listen closely to your vision and turn it into a functional, beautiful living environment that truly feels like home. Our designs cater to your needs and evolve with you over time, encouraging deeper connections with family and friends. Specializing in custom residential homes and boutique apartments, we balance luxury and comfort to create a welcoming atmosphere for everyone to enjoy. Discover a world of inviting and captivating design at www.slovicekstudio.com.au. Contact us for a journey from idea to reality. Slovicek Studio Architecture, turning your dreams into reality.
We're back on the Oz Cro Soccer Show,
Welcome back.
and over to you, Imenyache.
Okay, brilliant. Let's go to round of 32 fixtures. The draw, of course, happened last week, but tonight we found out exactly who we are taking on, and here is the state of play. So on Friday, 4th of August, Sydney United are away to Broadmeadow Magic. So I think Newcastle Croatia better open the doors of their clubs and be ready for a party, hopefully, that evening. So that's Friday, 4th of August, 7:30 p.m. up at Magic Park. Also, that same night, Canberra, Croatia are away to Mount Druitt Town Rangers at Popondetta Park. And then we have Gold Coast, who are playing on Wednesday, 9th of August against Devonport from Tassie. And then we've also got the Melbourne Knights, who are at home to the Lions on Thursday, the 10th of August. So there you go. Those 3 dates will be very important Friday, the 4th of August, for the 2 games for Sydney United and for Canberra, both away. At home are Gold Coast on the 9th of August, and at home are Melbourne Knights on the 10th of August. So book in your midweek football, and for Sydney United in Canberra, it's a Friday night. So
I reckon that week we just may have to come out on a Tuesday night, allowing that Wednesday night to be free, so that we can all tune into the Gold Coast game, and maybe if we're in Lutria, maybe we can even fly up to the Gold Coast. Actually, maybe we could fly up to the Gold Coast and do a live show from there. With the game in the background happening, maybe we can dream.
Sounds good. Why Friday night, Petard? It's because they have to schedule the games between the 4th and the 14th due to the Women's World Cup and all that sort of stuff.
Right.
That's why. Okay, let's start in Canberra with the weekly wrap. Canberra, Croatia had a big 3-3 draw against Gungahlin, but look on that right-hand side, and O'Connor Knights had a 9-0 thrashing of Woden Western. Woden have not won a match. They have not drawn a match. They've had 11 straight losses. Unbelievable. But that particular victory
O'Connor to
the very top of the table. Look at that.
Auntie, can I say it?
You can
woeful Woden Western. They are woeful. I've been wanting to say that for a while. They're woeful Woden Western.
All right.
Okay, that's 3 times really quick. Okay.
That's right. And so O'Connor doing fantastically well on equal points with the Tigers on 26, but of course on goal difference, O'Connor are first. And this Saturday is a big game, first versus third, when they play Canberra Olympic at home. So at O'Connor enclosed 3 p.m. kickoff there. And then Canberra, Croatia in action on Wednesday night, July the 5th. Maybe they're getting ready for that midweek football. That's why it's on a Wednesday night. But they play the 7th placed Tuggeranong. So there you go. I've got to get used to those names. In WA, State Division 1, the Western Knights were 1-0 victors over Rockingham, and Gosnells held Guelph to a 3-3 draw. So there you go. That was quite interesting. Guelph sitting 6th. Western Knights sitting 2nd, just 1 point behind 1st. And this Saturday, it's a big game. Western Knights at home against Dianella White Eagles at Nashfield. Is it actually Nash or is it Nashfield? I don't know.
Nashfield.
Pronounce the Croatian ways or the English way? I don't know. Nashfield, that's right. And then Guelph, they are at home on Saturday against the wonderful Murdoch Uni, who are sitting in 10th, and so they are also at home. But that's a huge one for the Western Knights on Saturday afternoon. Go the Knights. Also, victors this weekend were Dandy City. So well done to Dandy. They were able to get a 1-0 victory over Melbourne City, which was, of course, the academy feeder club for the A-League team. And so Dandy are sitting in 4th position. And this weekend, Dandy are playing the 7th placed Langwarrin at Lawton Park Reserve. That's Saturday at 3 p.m. kickoff.
How close
Moving on
is
to
this
Tassie,
division?
we had another winner in the Glenorchy Knights with a 4-0 thrashing. Sorry, Tonchi?
No, that's all right. I was just going to say about that Victorian division.
We had a 4-0 thrashing.
Yeah, what a close division that is. That is unbelievable. But anyway, over to Tasmania.
Absolutely. We say it each week. That's unbelievable, that Division 2. NPL Tassie, round 12 of 21. Glenorchy were 4-0 winners, and they are away this week against the 4th placed Zebras at Wentworth Park on Sunday, 2:30 p.m. kickoff. In Newcastle, well, we mentioned them because, of course, Sydney United are heading up there on the 4th of August, but on the weekend, they got back to the winners list with a 2-1 victory over North United Wolves. They're sitting in 3rd spot, and they are at home this Saturday afternoon, 2:30 p.m. kickoff. So if you are in the Newcastle neighbourhood, go and watch Newcastle in action. In Victoria, geez, no winners at all. All 3 clubs came out well. The clubs came up with a point. They were gifted a goal. I don't know if you saw that goal taunched by Manos, ex-Melbourne Knights and Sydney United, but made a bit of a mistake, and the Knights capitalised. They led. It was looking good, but then unfortunately the top-placed Avondale equalised, and it was 1-1. St Albans, they lost 2-0 to Bentley, who unfortunately Bentley were actually last before they played St Albans, so we were hoping for a St Albans win there. And Green Gully were 3-1 winners over North Geelong. So the Knights are 4th, St Albans are 11th, and the North Geelong are now 13th position. And of course, as Taunchy mentioned, get out there on Sunday for the big Croatian derby, North Geelong. Taunchy will be on the microphone. So
yes, I will.
North Geelong versus Melbourne Knights. Andy Pascalides will be there, so get yourself heart checked as well. So be there at Elko Park. It'll all happen there. And then, of course, Friday night, St Albans as well. He will be there, Andy and his team at Churchill Reserve. So that's Friday night at 7:45 p.m. So get on down there and go St Albans. Sydney United.
What is going on? The Rikvets Psychologia just did not work this time, Ante. It just did not work.
Didn't work at all. Unfortunately, another loss. So there we go. 8 rounds to go in this competition. As we spoke with Adrian last week, they do come a cropper against these A-League sides. And unfortunately, it happened again on Friday night. And, so this weekend they played the 11th place Sutherland. We are hoping for a Sydney United victory so they can start getting some wins on the board. As you can see, their last win was basically 5 weeks ago, and that was against Apia, who was coming first. So they can do it, but they've just got to do it more consistently. That's right. The Raiders, they lost.
No.
So they're not first anymore. Para Hills now are first, and come on, Raiders, get back into it. They can do it. And this Saturday, they play the 6th-placed Adelaide Victory, so let's hope that they can do it. Hurstville Zagreb. I was at this match, and we'll talk to the Hurstville Zagreb crew a little bit about this. Hit the frame of the goal 3 times. Forced the keeper into 2 great saves, but unfortunately lost by 4-2 at home on Saturday evening. And so this weekend, they've actually got the bye, so hopefully they'll get the chance to regroup. And then they are playing the 4th place Gladesville away at Christie Park on Saturday, the July 15 at 7 p.m. kickoff. South Coast, they were 4-1 losers. They are now sitting second from bottom, and they play the team just above them. So hopefully South Coast can get another victory. There is only, what have we got? Just 1 point between the 2 teams. So let's hope that South Coast at home can beat Tarrawanna on the weekend and get on down there if you are in the Wollongong area. In Brizzy, there was no game, so the Knights still sit first. They are at home on Friday night, so get on down there and support them. And the Gold Coast Knights were meant to play last night, but the game got cancelled due to weather, and they are sitting in first position, just 1 point above Gold Coast United, and they're in action on Sunday against Sunshine Coast at Ballinger Park.
So this week's winners list. Have we had any improvement on last week? 5.
No, 5 clubs last week, 5 clubs this week. So we need more clubs on the winners list. But well done to all of the teams, Glen Orkey, Western Knights, Newcastle Croatia, O'Connor and Dandy for coming up with victories on the weekend. And just quickly, on this very day, 31 years ago, at Olympic Park was the first ever meeting between Croatia and Australia, and that happened at Olympic Park. As you can see, look at the names in that Croatian team. You had Dražen Ladić, who of course went on to be the World Cup goalkeeper in '98. You got players like Igor Stimac in there, Nikola Jerkan, Slaven Bilic, Josip Weber. Now he was interesting because he only played 3 games for Croatia, and that was in this 3-game series. And then 2 years later, he ended up playing for Belgium. So he was one of the rare ones who played for both national teams. And unfortunately, he just passed away a couple of years ago from pancreatic cancer. So very, very sad news about that. But yeah, he was the only goal scorer in this whole series. So there were 3 matches. And Australia versus Croatia back in 1992. I remember going to that one at Sydney Football Stadium.
I was actually in Croatia when this was happening, actually, and it was it was like weird that I was on the other side of the world and Croatia was playing in Australia. But interestingly, Igor Stimac played in that game. You mentioned that, and just recently, he, as the coach of the Indian national team, has got some success at the Southeast Asian Games or something like that. They ended up winning. So Stimac has had some success at international level as well. So well done, Ante. A great kaleidoscope there of Australian Croatian clubs. unfortunately, the results just, for the second week
We
running,
need to lift.
we've only had 5 clubs. 5 clubs we need to lift. Yep, watch that press. The finger goes up. So we all need to do it this week. I want to have at least 8 winners. At least 8 winners.
Pressure's on.
At least we know in Geelong there will be at least one Croatian club that will win in that Croatian derby. So
Unless it's a draw. Tom.
Oh, yeah, that doesn't count, yeah. Yeah. All right, folks, we're going to take a very short break. When we return, it is time for the Croatian roundup. Some interesting stuff happening over there in Croatia as well, including a very interesting statistic about one particular Croatian player who ranks number 1 worldwide. We'll find out exactly about who that Croatian player is and why he ranks number 1 worldwide shortly after this break, folks. Don't go away. It's the Oz Cro Soccer Show, and it is episode 44. Welcome back to the Oz Cro Soccer Show.
Who is this player that you mentioned?
Would you like to know? I'll give you 3 guesses. Guess number 1. A player, and he's ranked number 1 worldwide.
Most yellow cards in the world?
Number 1. That's 1 guess. 2 guesses. And you have to name the player.
Name the player.
It could be like Luka Modric for being the smallest midfielder in the world or something along those lines. By the way, that's not the question.
That's all. Joško Gvardiol? Anything to do with him?
Most expensive defender in the world?
Brozovic, of course. Yes.
Could be. No, he wasn't because it hasn't officially gone through. Gvardiol. Brozovic, yes, he's the highest paid Croatian footballer at the moment, but not worldwide. Maybe. Yeah, technically, but that's not the reason. You give up.
Tell me.
Dominik Livakovic, the goalkeeper, he is the most official game minutes as a goalkeeper over the last 365 days. So have a look at that. He has played a total of 5,963 minutes over the last 365 days. Pereira there from Brazil, another Brazilian Marquez, and another Brazilian Krepski, and another Brazilian Ramos. They must play like 1,000 games in Brazil. They are in the top 5, but our Dominic, he's number 1 worldwide. So he has played the most minutes as a goalkeeper worldwide. So well done.
All those extra times have come into reckoning. So that's why.
That's probably what got him over. Yeah.
I wonder if penalties count. Does penalties count? Because there's some added minutes as well, right?
There's even more added minutes, possibly, Ante. You may be onto something. All right, the big news coming out of Croatia this week is that finally, everyone, the Croatian Football Federation, the Croatian government, and indeed the Velika Gorica City Council, they have all reached an agreement where the state, so basically the government, the Croatian government, is going to gift a parcel of land in Velika Gorica, literally just around the corner from the airport, the national airport there, the Franjo Tuđman Airport, and just down the road from the Velika Gorica Stadium, where the official national camp is going to be built, where it's going to be situated. There's Marijan Kustic, the president of the Croatian Football Federation. He's flanked by Zlatko Dalic on his right, and that Croatian Prime Minister, what's his name, Plenković, on the left. And there's a who's who of football dignitaries as well as those politicians. I don't trust a word that they say until it actually comes to fruition. But let's see that this happens. this has been talked about for a long, long time, and it's quite ironic that in the same week that the Victorian government down here has unveiled the national home of the Matildas down at La Trobe University in Bundoora, northern suburbs of Melbourne. So finally, all the Croatian national teams, that's the seniors, the women's, the youth teams, etc., they will all have their own place finally. Now, it's also been talked about that, and this will be interesting for all fans of Dinamo Zagreb, plus obviously whoever, fans of the Croatian national team. Negotiations with the Catholic Church in Croatia, who are the owners of the land in and around the Maksimir Stadium, are going really well, and apparently it's coming towards the end now. And all they need is for the Catholic Church basically to allow construction of what will become the new national stadium, and of course where Dinamo Zagreb will be residing from. So finally, we've got a lot of movement happening as far as stadiums. Now, the big one was the Pampas Arena, or the Opus Arena as it is called. It was officially open to the public. So last Sunday, something like 5,000 to 6,000 Osječani were able to come, sit down, literally test drive their seats and pick a seat where they want to become season ticket holders. These are some of the photos, some of the pictures, and it is a magnificent stadium. Look, it's only a 13,000-seater stadium, but compared to anything that we've got in Croatia at the moment, this is just unbelievable. Now, the Osijek supporters, the Kohorta, even not only did they take the seats for a test drive in the sense that they sat down and mapped out where they're going to be sitting and all that, they actually started singing some songs, and they reckon just the noise that was echoing around the stadium was just extraordinary. So the ticketing prices, they reckon, compared to the old Gradski Vrt, the city stadium, is about triple. Still, though, it's cheaper than Maksimir and Poljud. But there has been a few people that have been saying, oh, yeah, but we're not going to be watching any high-level European competitions here or anything like that. But Osijek have dipped into their coffers and have signed a couple of players. But apparently, there's talk that they will be getting a few transfers as well, and proceeds from that transfers. So yeah, something to really, really look forward to. But Ante, I don't know about you, mate.
Exciting.
Definitely something for the bucket list to go to the new.
Yeah, absolutely.
The Opus Arena. It's called the Opus Arena. That's the sponsor there. But yeah, no, that's absolutely. Oh, look, mate. When you see that, when you see the talk of national camps and renovated stadiums and this and that, it is exciting times for Croatia.
It's about time. It's about time. I mean, we're doing everything that we can on the field, so it's time we get everything off the field right as well.
And there he is. Marcelo Brozovic has gone to Saudi Arabia for the Al Nassr, where Ronaldo is playing at the moment. So it's official. He is going to become he is set to become the highest paid Croatian sportsman, footballer, full stop. I think it's something like 200 million a year in euros for the next 3 years, plus 400 million bonuses or something like that. Astounding.
Fantastic money.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's incredible. Why wouldn't you go?
200,000
Have fun.
Well, no, it's a massive amount either way. Yeah. Moving along now, some of the preseason friendlies. Now, there's been about another half a dozen games played, but these are just some of the games. The results: Varaždin defeated Slovenian Sadomžale 3-2. Osijek defeated Bohemians by the same result. Istra defeated Slovenia's Koper 4-2. Dinamo Zagreb drew with Koper 2-2. That's a good sign for Istra. Olimpija Ljubljana defeated Hajduk Split 1-0, and there was a crowd of about 5,000 or something like that at Olympia's stadium, including a fair contingent of Hajduk supporters from Zagreb. And
is the Hajduk coach sacked yet, or is he still there?
Yeah. Oh, my gosh, there's been a lot of talk about, people reading into the results and already talking about, they're not going to see, past Velika Gorspa, which is, when is it, in October? August, I think it is.
August,
yeah. Yeah, that Leko will be sacked by Velika Gorspa. Funny. Anyway, Celje and Slaven Belupo, they drew 2-2. Rijeka defeated Slovenian side Bravo 3-0. And then overnight, I think they drew with a Serbian outfit, Cukurički, who are, I think they finished 3rd or 4th in the Serbian league, if I'm not mistaken. I don't really know the Serbian league very well, but it was probably thereabouts, yeah. Lots to get through. Right, the new kits. Geez, NK Osijek. Well, not only have they unveiled their new stadium and all that to the public, but they've also unveiled their new kits. And the first kit, obviously, is their blue and white striped kits, which I actually really, really love. I like because it's a bit different. It kind of reminded me of the QPR, Queen's Park Rangers kit, but their second top is that dark one, the black one on the far right. And then their third kit is something very different, Ante, a purple kit. Yep, I thought it was a goalkeeper's kit when I first saw it, but it's something completely different. The third kit is renowned as being something of a far out kit. That's they try and sell it marketing wise. Mate, what do you think of it? The purple third away kit, or the third kit?
When they play in that kit, they should play Purple Rain over the audio. Let me tell you, it looks like it's Prince inspired. But yeah. I mean, why not? There's all sorts of colours that are coming out. You look at all sports around the world, so I think purple's quite cool. I think it should be interesting to see them play in that particular outfit.
They'll start calling him Amo Ljubičasti. Yeah, doesn't have that same ring, has it? But sort of speaking of third kits, Hajduk Split. We said last week they've announced their third kit. It's a very unusual, environmentally friendly green striped kit. But the big I guess the criticism of this is that the grb has been greened out, if you like. It's made green and white, the colour. It's been, and I think a lot of people, are saying, the grb is red and white, and Hajduk's grb is svetinja. You don't mess around with the colour of the Hajduk grb. But so that's a kind of a little bit of a criticism of
the kit design has been sacked as well now.
Yeah. By the way, if you're after the old Hajduk away kits, you can get them for only $65 Australian now from Macron here in Australia. So pop your we'll try and actually get if you private message us or email us at Oz Cro Soccer Show @gmail.com, we'll pass on the details. But you can just Google it, or even on Facebook, Macron. They're having an end of season sale, $65 Australian. When normally those kits are about $150, $65 Australian, you can get the Hajduk Split kits that from last season and the year before. Now, this is a huge story. This is a real huge story. This young fella from Vukovar 91. He signed. He is the actual. He was the Weber, I think his name is Pierre Weber or something like that. He is the captain of the Leipzig under-19 youth team that played in the Euro Youth League Championships along with Hajduk Split. Now, he's come to Vukovar. This is big news. I mean, he's 19. They're already suggesting this is going to be a huge coup for Vukovar, but also for the Croatian second division. Now, last year, remember, we had that player from Kustošija. There's multiple ways to pronounce it. And he went to Barcelona for $5 million. The name escapes me now. But look, this fella could be another big signing, although I think he's come as on loan with the option in a year's time of being able to buy him outright. So some awesome things happening there in Croatia. The Super Cup kicks off Saturday week, so not this Saturday coming, but Saturday week. Dinamo Zagreb taking on Hajduk Split at the Maksimir, minus Marko Livaja, who is suspended. And then the week later, the HNL kicks off again, Ante. It's like we haven't had any time to rest.
Nah, it's 52. Football's 52 weeks a year,
Yeah,
and
love it.
I'm sure even the Hurstville Zagreb boys will be speaking about that very shortly.
Yeah, no, absolutely fantastic. I'm excited about that. Excited about the new season, and obviously there'll be a lot of interest in the HNL again this time round. We're going to finish off with an Australian Croatian bit of news announced earlier today. A-League side MacArthur FC. Well, they've signed a returnee Christian Popovic, who had a spell at Rudeš. He was also at NK Međimurje last season as well. So after 3 seasons abroad, he spent a bit of time in Xanthi in Greece when his father, Tony Popovic, was the coach there. And he's come back to Australia and he's signed with MacArthur FC. I know Stephen Ugarkovic has signed with Melbourne City, if I'm not mistaken, as well. So there's a bit of a Ringespiel of player movements happening in the A-League off-season as well. But that, Ante, brings us to the end of the Croatian wrap-up.
Well done, Tonchi.
All right, mate. Well, we're going to have a quick break. When we do return, we'll be talking to our guests tonight. And Ante, who are the first of our guests tonight?
The first of our guests are the president of the Hurstville Zagreb Football Club, which is John Gagro, along with the Zagreb Football Academy director, Mr. Stephen ZORIC. And we're really, really looking forward to talking to those two gentlemen first off before we speak to a couple of others in Jesse Gagro and Paul Gagro after that.
No problem. Well, and I've also got a little bit of a surprise for you all. So don't go away, folks. It's the Oz Cro Soccer Show. Back after this very, very short break.
Welcome to Slovicek Studio Architecture. Our approach combines modern design with harmonious solutions tailored to your unique needs. We listen closely to your vision and turn it into a functional, beautiful living environment that truly feels like home. Our designs cater to your needs and evolve with you over time, encouraging deeper connections with family and friends. Specializing in custom residential homes and boutique apartments, we balance luxury and comfort to create a welcoming atmosphere for everyone to enjoy. Discover a world of inviting and captivating design at www.slovicekstudio.com.au. Contact us for a journey from idea to reality. Slovicek Studio Architecture, turning your dreams into reality.
Welcome back to the Oz Cro Soccer Show. It's a pleasure to have you here. And yes, I'm wearing this top. There we go, Zagreb FC. A little bit tight on me because I've got a couple of tops underneath. But I'd like to thank everyone at Zagreb Hurstville, and that was sent to us, to myself, and last year's my co-host last year, Josip Zilic. We had some tops sent down to us, so we really appreciate that. I'm not sure if Tony Chavard had anything to do with it. If he had, thank you very much, or whoever it was. But I thought I'll bring it out for this particular show because tonight, mate, we've got our club in focus, and our club is indeed Zagreb Hurstville. And Ante, it's time to bring on our guests. Would you like to do the honours?
Sure, absolutely. Thank you so much, Torchy. It gives me great pleasure to introduce two gentlemen who have been in and around the club for quite a while, and they'll be able to tell their own stories in reference to that. And they are none other than club president in John Gagro and Zagreb Football Academy, Mr. Stephen ZORIC. Welcome to the show, gentlemen.
Well, how are you? Good evening.
Good evening, gents. Great to have you guys on the show. John, first of all, as the president, it's pretty much, well, we're now kind of towards the second half of the season, well and truly. Give us your assessment as president of the club, how you've been, happy or otherwise, with 2023 and the season so far, on and off the field, obviously.
Yeah, well, basically, it's been very good, actually. We did a lot of hard work before the season started. We had a few issues, had to run the club in our football St. George, and you had 7 or 8 people running both departments in MPL and club football. So we had a lot of meetings, and we reorganised the club pretty well, and a lot of work from a lot of people and help from other people. Got a lot of criticism how it was done, and we listened, and we got out there and did what we had to do to implement those changes, like the NPL programs subcommittee, and over there to the club football part of it. We knew we had to do things, get ourselves organised better with basically the time we start things, do things. How I say, to get coordinators in, get our communication much better. We improved that a lot. It's been a big thing for us. We've got the most sponsorship we ever got in the Football St George ever, and all that sponsorship we got, we gave out to the kids through, how I say, to hoodies, tracksuits. Coaches got middle aids, all those sort of little things to improve the club, to make it improve and go forward. And running of the clubs improved a lot, big time. And that was a lot of help from people like, Matty Barbic, that was Ante Bulti, Robert Camacho, Tony Chavard, the budgeting. And we knew we had to fix things because we were getting criticised a lot. And what we've seen so far and the feedback we're getting and all those sorts of things has been massive, like I said to you. And also when you look at our football department in the club football part, it's quite amazing, really. Our 12s, our 14s, our 15s, 16s, 18s, all HCs, and 4 senior teams. There's 9 teams now with 3 or 4 weeks to go. We're basically now in semi-final positions, and some going for minor premierships. Our girls teams are, I think, our 12s, our 14s, 17, 21 girls also in there. So about 12 teams in our small club. Well, not small anymore, but basically, how I say to you, in semi-final contention, which are in semi-final positions now with 3 or 4 weeks to go. It's quite amazing. It's quite an achievement, like the coaches and the managers and the players, and a lot of credit for that. And our hard-working committees did all the work in the background and things like that. And also what we implemented, what we just speak to Zoki about, is the Zagreb Academy. So we're very happy with what we're doing. The NPL part, I think the boys will talk to you about that. We've done a lot of work there as well. And there's a lot of improvements that have happened there. So overall, it's been a pretty good season so far, coming up to the end of it.
John, you sound like a very happy president. That's what we want to see. That sounds fantastic.
Yeah, it's been good. It's been good. A lot of hard work.
Excellent. Steve ZORIC, welcome to the show, and really looking forward to talking with you as well a bit. So tell us a bit about the Zagreb Academy. How did this come about? And, it's actually been running for a few weeks, you guys have been telling me.
Yeah, it's been running for about 5 weeks now, so we're into our 5th week. It started off, I'm not doing anything, as you know, at the moment, so I was having a break from football. And my kids, obviously one of my kids play at Zagreb, so I'm there every week, and then started talking to Johnny, to Matty Barbic and Steve Moshkin, and they were talking about, a specialised program for the kids, especially trying to tap into the younger ages, to provide a pathway up into the NPL and get them more on the ball, specialised training, game awareness, individualisation skills as well. And the more we expand that, the better it's going to get. So it's going to be better for the club. It's a good initiative for the young players in the club. It'll only get bigger and better. At the moment, we've been running straight off the bat 5 sessions a week, which is good. Double sessions on Monday, Tuesday, and a Friday. So it's going good, and it's only going to grow. So it's been a great initiative, and I've got to thank Matty Barbic and Steve Moshkin and Johnny here. It's something that I'm passionate about and enjoy doing.
Now, Steve, I love this. I really do. I love hearing Croatian clubs creating these type of structures, creating these type of academies, whether it be for the elite players or for those players that want that little bit of extra training to take them to the next level. And quite frankly, I think there's not enough of it being done at club level. Up in Sydney, though, you also have the added burden of, I guess, competing when it comes to these academies, a lot of the private type of academies as well that are set up. And there's a lot of money in this and big money in this. How have you gone about trying to, I don't know, or have you gone about differentiating yourself from some of these private academies? And what is it that you guys can offer, not only the Zagreb juniors, but the kids in that Hurstville area that maybe some of these private academies can't?
Look, a lot of those private academies, some of them start off with a really good program, but as you see, sometimes they get too big and it just becomes, it's not about the product anymore. It's not about the specialised program. It's just numbers. It's also, when you look at other academies, and not talking against other academies, but it's a lot of just individualisation as well, which is great. But one thing I'm seeing that's missing out there is also, the game awareness, game management, positional. Get them to start learning, certain positions in the game, certain movements as well as doing that individualisation. You bring them together. And, it's also learning to pass the ball properly and with the movement as well. So we do specialised games as well at the end of it, without giving too much away, which helps them play in a bit of a formation, getting some passes in there and how to pass and what cues to do. And in the last 4 weeks, I've seen a massive improvement week to week. And watching some of the games on the weekend as well, some of the younger kids, now you start seeing them, they're looking to pass the ball, they're trying to make the right decisions. And you just got to encourage it. If they make a mistake, you just got to keep going and encourage their willingness to play by the principles of the game. So, definitely want to win games. Obviously, never go away from that, but do it in the right process as well, because it's going to serve them better when they get older. Because as we know, as you get older, it's more results-based business. And it's going to come up to the club's philosophy wherever they play. If it's not even at Zagreb, wherever they go. But as long as they've got the basic principles of the game, they can adjust to different styles.
Yeah, I think when we were thinking about this, the most important thing for us was that, the technical part, the skillful part, and bringing sort of Steve in and the program in that's going to help 6s, 7s, 8s, 9s, 10s, 11s, 12s. They're the ones we're really looking at, and sort of bring them through the pathway into our NPL program and give them that opportunity. If they don't achieve it there, they can also achieve it. I think what Zagreb brings to it, we're not here, Zagreb, to make money from it. We're not actually making anything for it. We're just getting it back to when we get the things nicely set up to the coaches, more to the gear to the kids, when that will be more implemented next year. It just started a bit late. Like I said, Maddie, and set up a website. And what's the website they can go on to? It's
www.zagreb.academy.com.au.
Yeah, that's we're not charging. We're probably the cheapest. That's what we're looking at. We're not here to make money for it. As a club, we're just here to try to improve our kids and give them that opportunity to go through our program.
And so far, have you had have you had a good mix of boys and girls? I mean, it seems like the women's sort of football is exploding at the moment, right?
Yeah, definitely. There's a fair few girls that are coming to the academy. They're very hungry to improve, and it's great to see that. So I'm getting it's probably about a 60-40% mix. Yeah, it's close. Yeah,
it's good.
Yeah, it's good.
Oh, that's and at that age group, they're quite equal, like, right? There's not so much of a difference in terms of that physicality, like sort of what Daniela was mentioning last week, because she was mixing it up with the boys, and now she's over with the young Matildas as well.
Yeah, the girls are aggressive. They get in there, and they don't pull back. And it's good to see. They handle themselves, and they're doing well. They're doing really well.
Yeah, it's all good. It's like I said, like the girls competition and our thing. It's changed our club many years ago. It's improved our club. It's made it a bigger club, a better club since the girls have come into Zagreb, which we never had before. Yeah, so it's a good thing for the club, and we're looking forward to making it bigger and better and achieving more, getting more coaches in when it starts growing, to work with Zoki and people who can get that sort of developing these kids for us. So.
Gents, I guess this question is aimed at you, John. Is the academy more aimed at the moment at the Zagreb juniors, male or female, or is it aimed kind of whoever wants to be part of it? And could it be something used down the track where you might be able to entice players from other clubs then to join Zagreb?
No, we actually are going to advertise it a little bit more. We started a little bit late and with it, and it's going to grow what we wanted to. We have no issues, and we want to push it out other clubs to come and get involved, and that might even help us when they're coming to these from other clubs, see the academy, see what a club's about, and it's cheaper than anywhere else. And what it does is they might come and then play for our club. I mean, and we've got the pathway, so we've got a selling point. We've got the pathway. 11 or 12-year-old comes over, a 10-year-old, 11, 12. They've got a pathway into our NPL program. And they might make a SAP program. If we achieve that, we've done something good. Yeah, so we are encouraging anybody out there from Croatian, non-Croatian, whatever, if they want to join it, then they'll see what it's like. So.
And we've
what's the website again? Sorry, guys, what was the website again?
www.zagreb.academy. Zagreb.academy.com.au.
Zagreb.academy.com.au.
Yeah,
.com.au. Yep, beautiful. Yep.
And Zaki, tell the listeners who don't know about your vast history with Zagreb, and basically you started your coaching career with Zagreb, and you've done a hell of a lot in your coaching career, haven't you?
Yeah, look, in a short space of time, I have. Extremely proud of it. Wouldn't change it for the world. So I started back. I played when I came back to play for Zagreb. I played till about the age of 39, I think, and then I'm suffering for it now. So my knees are shot. So and then I went into coaching, and I thank Johnny here again. He's been a big part of it for me because he gave me the opportunity at some of those years there that I was a player coach, and then learnt a lot of lessons there. And that's the only way you learn. And because I was very young and didn't really, I thought the way I played, the way I coached, that was the way to coach. And then I learnt a few lessons there. And then when I went into it full time that first year, was successful, won the minor premiership. I recruited a few other players from other clubs, and then kicked on from there.
Got coach of the year as well that year. Went off to United and
then went off to United, then to Rogdale, and then went through the ranks at Rogdale, and
now he's back at Zagreb.
Now I'm back at Zagreb, so I got in a full circle.
Yeah, you were in that big grand final a couple of years ago against United. It ended up that was a classic 3-3 draw, and Rochdale lost on penalties indeed. But yeah, Zaki's. It
was a great grand final, hard stopping, frustrating for me, but it was good to watch. Like even as a coach, it was great to be a part of such a grand final like that. It was exciting, and the goals that were scored that game were world-class goals.
Absolutely. John, just to you a little bit, obviously, I mean, Zagreb's got a great sort of history of names who have gone through the club, whether you talk about Mark Rudan, whether you talk about Ante Milicic, whether you talk about Richard Plesha, Joe Verkic, etc. All of these guys who went on to play at NSL. Ante Chovic, of course, went on to play at NSL level, but of course, Zagreb never had, pretty much once they got to a certain age group, they had to leave the club if they wanted to, play at a higher level, right? Whereas now we've got that whole pathway because we've got that setup. Whereas we used to have the setup in terms of the state league at senior level, but we never had that at junior level. So that was something else you guys had to do in the last couple of years and restructure and organise. And it hasn't been an easy job, has it?
No, it hasn't been, but it's very, very exciting. It's our 4th year, and probably the boys will talk to you a little bit more about that. And that's the thing which we've been a little bit disappointed about is the amount of kids coming through like when they get to 12 or 11, 12, and into that 13 bracket board in the last 3 years has been pretty poor. So that's the reason behind the academy, and we want those kids coming through us, and playing through it, coming to our club, and being able to be picked into that team because they're good enough, So. Yeah, so it's a great thing for us to have, and we're very excited about it. Like I said, it's only our 4th year this year, and we've done really, really well with it. So it's an exciting thing for us. It's like this thing you think about it. So many clubs in the area have a club football part of it, and they have a NPL part of it. It's been fantastic. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And the other end of it, we've got these over 45s. We're recruiting these ex-A-League players. Lloyd Owusu is playing for Zagreb. Is that correct?
I'm not too sure. Probably it is. It's hard for me to keep up with everything. There's so many teams, there's so many things. But I've heard, that's true. I think it is true. Yeah.
That is amazing. So people are returning into their careers at the end of their careers. That's amazing. And of course, Ante Chovic and a lot of the gang there as well. Yeah, exactly. So, Johnny, I mean, tell us about, obviously, you've been involved with the club since pretty much day dot, right? Because, you've pretty much been there for all of your life. Is that correct?
Well, I played at under 16s. Then I went off to United, played a bit of the old NSL, maybe 1 year, and Canterbury Berries a bit. And then all of a sudden I came back to Zagreb as... goodness me, I don't want to say how long ago it was. It was probably back in '86. I think I was played a bit, then I became a coach, and then later on in the years got in the committee and all that sort of stuff like that. Yeah, I've been around for a long time. Yeah. I'm passionate. I love it, and I've got a lot. I'm pretty privileged. It's humbling to be the president of this club and see what we've done with it. Our committee, the Vasils, the Chavars, the Choviches, and all the people who are working it. considering when we came in together, it was only like first grade 20s, and there's only like probably 150 now. We're around about 550, and we've done all that.
Wow.
We've done all that hard work, and I'm very humble, and I know what it is to be president, and I know how hard I have to work to make sure that we're doing the right things and trying to please everybody and pushing the club forward and growing it forward. That's all the work we've done, and we've got a lot of new ideas coming up by the end of the season to try to improve and get more people involved in that. Yeah, so yeah, it's an honour being president, and I love doing it. So it's been fantastic.
No, it's got a real family club feel to it, and you guys do a fantastic job as president to keep that happening. Yep. We've got one of the most prettiest grounds in the St. George area, if not the whole of New South Wales. Let me tell you, by the water there. You know, there's been sort of talk about, maybe getting an artificial there or something. Is that, potentially possible in the pipeline, or it's something we're working on, or it's not possible?
Well, look, the biggest issue down there is we've been, like me, Tony, and we've had a fixed cars park, a little subcommittee with people on there. Started back in way back in last October, September, October, meeting up with Chris Minns and politicians, the mayors, the big planners, and all that sort of stuff. What's happening in that area? Because we're the only ones that have nothing's been done now. The amenities block, the surface hasn't been done, and there's a pool next to it. And the issue with the pool is basically we have to wait till they make a decision, which they did. They're going to knock it down, but they're going to knock it down, and they still haven't done that. They're supposed to be done by January. And they're still going, they're still sitting there. So what they're doing is they're knocking it down. And then after they knock it down, there's going to be a year of communications and conferences and what do you want to call it, to basically find out the new amenities block. We're looking at having a pavilion on top if we can. They are going to redo the surface there, but we have pushing very, very hard for a synthetic down there as well. So that the only issues being basically we're waiting on that to be knocked down, and then the final plans to be done, which will have a say in it and what we'll be getting with it. So it's very frustrating for us because it's being ongoing, and people asking us all the time what's happening. But we are working very, very hard. We just had a meeting 4 weeks ago with the mayor and one of the state members here and a few other people from the council regarding what's happening and trying to improve our lighting, improve our grounds and things like that. So to all our members down there, we are working hard and trying to get it done. And the synthetic would be a game changer for us down there. Yes, so we're really, really pushing for it.
Good stuff. Great to hear.
Yeah.
All right. Well, if that's it, Auntie, you got any more questions?
No, I just want to say best of luck, and get on down to the zagreb.academy.com.au and look at Stephen. I mean, geez, what a well-credentialed coach and a lovely gentleman, and fantastic bloke. So get on down and sign up. Isn't that right, Stephen?
Yes, 100%. He's a good bloke. Top bloke.
Thanks, guys. Well, we're going to let you go, and we're going to take a short break. And when we return, we'll be speaking now to Jesse and Paul Gagro. It's a real Gagro dynasty there at Zagreb Hurstville. We look forward to speaking to Jesse and Paul after this short break. So, folks, don't go away. It's Ante and Taunchy here for the Oz Cro Soccer Show. We're going to come back after this very short break, and we're going to talk NPL football with Zagreb Hurstville. Welcome back to the Oz Cro Soccer Show. Now, before we get to our next guest, just a quick reminder about that heartbeat of football activation down in Victoria this coming weekend on Friday night at Churchill Reserve, home of St Albans Dynamo. We got that kicks off at 5:30 till about 9:30. The big game kicks off at 7:30. Dynamo will be taking on was it Port Melbourne, Auntie? I can't remember now off the top of my head.
You should know.
Oh, yeah. I should, shouldn't I? And then the big Croatian derby down in Geelong at Elco Park on Sunday from 11:30 till 4:30 is the heartbeat of football activation. But the big game kicks off at 3 p.m.
It is Port Melbourne.
And
It is Port Melbourne. Yes.
Port Melbourne. I was right. Yeah, I was right. Yeah. And the Hrvatski Zet, Andy Pascalidis, will be there at both those activations, both those events.
He loves singing Živela Croatia. So if you see Andy, just start singing Živela Croatia. He loves it.
If you haven't seen the interview with Andy Pascalidis that was held on the Game of Two Halves podcast, powered by the Geelong Region Soccer Show, which is a sister podcast of ours, that was on this Monday. Do go over to the Geelong Region Soccer Show's YouTube channel, and you'll see it there. And the first thing that he comes in, I think he thought it was the Oz Cro Soccer Show. The first thing he goes, Genially! It was, it was
legend.
A mainstream local program, but good old Andy. Now we've got our next guests. Would you like to bring them on the show?
Yeah, absolutely. First graders with Hurstville Zagreb, absolute legends, great guys. Of course, we had their father, John, just on before. Now we've got these sons, both Jesse and Paul. Thank you so much for joining us here on the Oz Cro Soccer Show.
Hey guys, thanks for having us, guys. Thanks for having us.
Very well, thanks, guys. Very well, and we talked about the Gagro dynasty there at the club. You're following in some famous footsteps, obviously your father, but also your grandfather, who was one of the co-founders. But you guys have pretty much. John has been spent all his pretty much. Well, I won't say all of his adult life at the club, but more or less. What's it like? What's it like coming up through the ranks, coming up? Being part of the club, being part of the furniture, and now finally making it through to the NPL, the seniors team.
Yeah, look, it's special. I mean, it's no secret. I mean, 99% of the conversation in our household is around Hurstville Zagreb. It has been since we were born, so it's in our blood. From when we were kids, going to Hurstville Oval and just watching games and always just running around at half time and it's been there. So we obviously played at the club as juniors, then we went off to play NPL elsewhere because we didn't have an NPL program, and then came back into the senior fold after that. So pretty much always, the majority of our playing time has been at the club, but even supporting and just, I did coaching in the youth. Now I'm coaching in the NPL or TD. So it's just, it's been in our blood and been in what we've known since we were born, basically. So we're hooked, and whether we like it or not, we are hooked now. So we love the club, and it's just a big part of our lives.
Awesome stuff. Jesse, now you're the top goal scorer for the season so far, right? Tell us about that bicycle kick a couple of weeks ago. Have you done that before? Was that just intuition? How did you manage that?
That's definitely the first time I've ever attempted it. I'm not sure if I'll attempt another one because I'm 1 from 1, and I'm pretty happy with that. 100% strike rate. But kind of just the ball was just behind me, and it was really the only thing I could do. So I thought I'd give it a go, and luckily it went in. So how did I know we'd still be talking about this bicycle kick 6 weeks later? As soon as it went in, I knew this was going to happen. It's great because I actually don't bring it up, but a lot of people talk about it. So I'm happy to talk about it if anyone wants to bring it up. Whenever you like.
Go on Zagreb's Facebook and look up Goal of the Week a couple of weeks back, and you'll see it's a brilliant goal. Brilliant goal.
Well, I'm sure, Jesse, it's something that you'll be telling your grandkids one day, and it'll be one of those stories. But another person that might be talking about his debut when he first came to Zagreb Hurstville to play was 17-year-old James Tengbech, who made his debut on the weekend. He's been working all hard. There you go. There's the post that was made during the week. And how did he go, by the way? How did he play in his first game?
Yeah, he did very well. Actually, it was a bit of a last minute inclusion. We had a bit of an injury came through, and he's been doing really well. He's been playing 18s and 20s throughout the year, and just working hard, great attitude. And we sort of said, look, let's give you a chance depending on how the game goes. We needed some attacking options, and he came on that right wing last 10, 15 minutes, and he caused a bit of havoc, and definitely didn't look out of place at all. So fantastic opportunity. We've got a massive first grade squad, so it's not easy to get opportunities, but it's a testament to him to just sticking to it, working hard, and waiting for his opportunity. Yeah, and there's no reason why he won't be called again. He showed that he can do that and play at this level. So it's fantastic.
And of course, this year was the introduction of Davor Bajsic as first grade coach. How's that gone so far? Obviously, a bit of a difference, of course. Last year we had your father John as a head coach. So yeah, what's been the difference there, and what style of technique and things like that have you been attempting to play this year?
A lot calmer household after losses. I'll start with that.
That's good to hear.
I'm sure my mum and my sister are really happy about it because we don't have the depressed, full household. It's still not great, but I mean, it doesn't affect us at home as much. But look, no, jokes aside, fantastic, very different style. Obviously, Double comes with a wealth of experience as a player. I think, I can't really touch on every single player. I mean, he was at Osijek. I think he might have been at Rijeka. He was at Apple and the kids played in the Europa League, now it's called. So a huge amount of experience as a player, brings out professionalism, been at, was at C United, was coaching, doing the youth and TD there, then was a first grade coach for a bit. Sydney Olympic, and Mount Druitt, I think. So obviously NPL1 club is very professional. So he's brought that professionalism across. It's, something that we wanted to do, and with my dad obviously being there, and it was good, but it was just too much for us all to do. And I can touch on the youth and what he's done there and helped, and other avenues. But look, that was come with his style. It's a very different sort of technical style, which is fantastic. We enjoy it as players. It's been a bit of a feel-out season for us. We would like to be much higher up the ladder. We're sort of in the middle of the pack, and we've got a good squad and a good young core there. And look, we'd like to be higher, but we play some good football and set some really good foundations. And these little 1%ers, it could be a very, very different story for us. We won't get into excuses, but it's some last-minute goals conceded or missed chances and things of that nature where the table could look very, very different. So definitely, we've enjoyed it. He's a great guy. He's adapting to us and our style. The way we as a club, this league, we're adapting to him. So it takes time, but it's
Jesse, as an attacker, you're the top goal scorer. With Davor's style, is he kind of like letting you off the leash and kind of do your own thing as a striker, as an attacker, or has he got very specific? Because like the Croatian coaches, they all play a certain type of brand, or they play a certain formation or a certain style, and expect that from their players. What's he like? And Paul said he's very technically minded. Yeah. How does he allow you to play your style?
He's definitely a lot more specific in the runs that he kind of wants his forward players to make, and the attacking sort of patterns of play that he has. Very based to kind of get out wide, get 2v1s on the sides, and strikers making runs to that near post, dragging defenders out, and a lot of players making late runs into the box. I found myself in some good areas this year. I'm getting a lot more chances, and I think maybe not having my dad on the bench screaming at me 24/7 is not too bad as well. It's been a good year. I've scored a few goals, but I definitely could have had a few more. So it's been good, but it could be better.
Yeah. Is it something that you expect that maybe with the benefit of maybe that extra year, or maybe even that pre-season where you're really adapting to his style, and now you settle? Next year's going to be bigger and better on the playing front. Is that something that you're kind of expecting, hoping?
Oh, we hope so. Yeah. We've got a good core group of guys that we've had for a while now, the last 5 years or so. So every year we feel like we're building. This year's definitely been a lot of adapting to a new style, like we've said. So hopefully with another year under our belt and keeping that same core and pushing forward, we can rise up the table next year and push for promotion.
And just to add to that, I mean, we had a very slow start this year, and I think that's clearly linked to that new style and just taking a bit of time. The style is going to be more contrasting, to be completely honest. And this league is what it is. It's very low risk football, very transitional. Teams like this suck you out and just not make mistakes, percentage football. So we're playing very free flowing and taking risks and playing a certain style, and it's good for players. Yeah. But we've got to find a balance of doing that and not making mistakes, and also finding ways to finish off chances. And I can't think of one game where we haven't had the possession. We have the possession, we have the ball most of the time. It's just using that ball to actually score goals and make sure we don't concede goals. And I think we have like 9 clean sheets this season, but we've also had some blowout losses where we've just lost our way. So the blueprint's there, all the pieces are there, and we had a bad start when I think we won 5 out of 7, and then we had a bunch of draws, and that formula doesn't work. So
yeah. Sounds really promising, though. Aren't you, like, when you listen to John and to Steve as well about the future of the club from the juniors up, and then you listen to these guys talking about the seniors at the moment and how there's a real sense of excitement, I think, for next year. And it just seems like an exciting place to be at the moment, gents, Zagreb Hurstville.
Yeah, it does. I was just going to ask Paul, you must be really proud the way the 13s to the 18s are travelling at this particular point in time. I think it's the most successful season in terms of results so far, and the club championship's looking good. And so you've got everything humbling along well, and some good coaches there as well.
We do. I'm proud of it. I can't get too ahead of myself because there's a lot of work to do. I touched on the show last time about sort of that startup in NPO and how it was just, we got our license late, so we're getting into all that stuff. But we did. First year was really a fill-out period. Second year, and we've just gone up and up and up. So last year we sort of in the middle of the pack. We're sitting 6th in club championship out of 15 teams, just outside the top 5. We had a bad start as well in youth, so that's something that I'll be accountable for that and have to figure out exactly why that is. I'm not really 100% sure, but whatever it is, I'll figure it out because we can't have that again. And if we didn't have that start, we'd be definitely in the top 5. I'm not saying we'd be in the top 2 because that's what gets promoted, but we'd be even higher. So yeah, just to touch on quickly in some of the age groups, we've got a fantastic young group of 13s. Did a lot of work with them to set that squad up, and we don't have a SAP program, so we've got to be very diligent to get that sort of up and running, and Jesse helped me with that, and we set that 13s team up, and super talented. So they're sitting 3rd on the ladder. 14s sitting 5th on the ladder. They lost a couple of players that got poached last minute, which wasn't easy for us, but they've done fantastic to put themselves right in contention there. 15s is a bit of a special story I want to quickly mention. I think it was 9 wins or 10, 9. I think it was either 9 or 10 wins in a row, so club record. I think about 10 clean sheets out of the last 11 games, setting all kinds of records. And that is why I want to mention that is because that is exactly the blueprint for what we want. And it's not about results, but it's about a coach taking the team in the 13s, us working together as a club, having that same core group of players and just watching them grow. Mid-table 13, lost 3 or 4 of their so-called best players. Didn't take a step back, finished 5th last year, and now they're sitting 2nd, competing with MacArthur, who are very, very good side. Some teams are called, MPL2 at least, MPL1 if not. They beat the other week, and they're setting all kinds of records. And that is just, for us, it's very rewarding because you've seen that coach and that squad come together and just grow over the years. And we've been able to hold on to that core group, and you see it's just paid dividends. So that's special for us. And those young teams are really driving for us. 16's a little bit off this year. A lot of injuries and off-field sort of stuff with them that doesn't help them. And our 18's, they're sort of mid-table. So those 3 teams, I should say 13s, 14s, 15s, really pushing for semis, well-placed to push for finals. And then 16s are out of contention, but 18s are right in the middle of the ladder. So they are also in contention. We actually haven't had teams play semis before. They were just missed out. So we've got a bunch there. So as you said, aren't a big improvement. And our 18s, just to mention, have 14 players that are eligible to stay 18s next year. So very young.
Oh, wow. That's great.
Yeah, so, so a lot of talent there, and a lot of those boys are playing 20s. And, so exciting times. I'm expecting another, there's work to be done. We've got to try and push into the finals, finish as high as we can on the ladder in the club championship. But I'm expecting another big push. I want to see that sort of
go up. Yes. And we here at the Oz Cro Soccer Show, we like to see all of our Croatian clubs doing well, whether it be the seniors, whether it be the juniors. But speaking of the juniors, Paul, there at the club, you've got a concept each week. You that's not it. I think it's is it this one? The team of the week. Yes, the team of the week. How do you go about selecting the team of the week from all of the teams? I mean, do you ask for nominations from the coaches for specifically good performances, or do you run some sort of a formula? How do you go about it? I'm really intrigued.
It's a good question. It's something that we came up with last year. So I work with Daniel Caruana, legend of a bloke. He does all our social media, and I don't want to. I think our social media is world class and it's right up there. And so full credit to him. So yes, the formula is literally we get nominations from coaches. We watch the games anyway. So we're pretty much watching all the time, so we make the calls. But we get nominations, and we say roughly 3 players, to be honest. But sometimes we get 5 or 6. And sometimes we get 0. So that's the way it works. And you have weeks where everyone wins, and it's a nightmare to try pick an 11. And you have another week where it's not so easy, and it's also a nightmare because there's not enough nominations. So it's about finding that balance and giving everyone a show. But I think the young boys. Oh, the lights got off. Sorry.
That's all right. We've got the team of the week on screen anyway. So.
Yeah, so look, it's a special dinner we did, and the young boys love it. I think they just enjoy it. They can be next to Daniel Mardash as a centre back in first grade with a right back from Levi Vudokic in the 13th, for example. So it's just a cool concept, and there's a bit of a buzz. We joke around about it at training. I know the boys have a bit of a laugh about it as well. Just the thing. It's just a bit of culture, sort of camaraderie that we do, and that's
fantastic.
So it's good fun.
Brilliant. I think it's brilliant. I'd love to see next season all the Australian Croatian clubs follow Zagreb Hurstville's lead and do the same. I know some clubs do, and kudos to them. And it's a great concept and keeps the youngsters all excited about it each week. And I'm sure there's a couple of penalties or backslapping or head slapping happening at training. I don't know, but it's good to see. Yeah.
The other interesting other thing I wanted to ask about was the fact that the senior team, Jesse, have been pretty much nomads over the past, as long as I've been supporting Zagreb and going to watch the senior team play from Hurstville Oval, home games to whether it be Rockdale or wherever the case may be, down at Sydenham. I remember going to a park over there. Yeah, that's it. But of course now, where you're sitting right now is at a brand new facility, which is of course Penshurst Park, and how good has that been over the past couple of years? This is the second year, I believe, or third year for Zagreb at this facility. And how important has it been to the club?
Oh, it's been awesome. Training, games, the pitch is awesome. The facilities are next level. The dressing rooms everything's just top class here. Everyone loves it. We met at a fortress last year. This year, it's not been as good in terms of results. But definitely we want to get that back on track. We love playing at home. Hopefully get a few more people here watching, a bit of a crowd. We got a bit of a section up the top where the sponsors can come and have a few drinks, watch the game. And that's usually where my dad screams at me now instead of from the bench. So it's definitely a good spot for us to call home.
Yeah, it is. And look, just on that, as you said, it's taking our club to another level. Just to add, look, I wasn't sure if I said this on the show last time, but if you look at, we are ambitious here, not just in youth, but seniors. We want to get promoted. We think we deserve to be in at least NPL2 in seniors and youth, and we're going to keep pushing that. And this has allowed us to do that. We have our home. We train here. We've got medical rooms. We've got strength and conditioning. We're adding all this stuff into the program. We're raising the bar. And look, you look at Victoria as a blueprint. Special, right? So 4 Croatian teams, sort of NPL 1 and 2, I think it was a few years ago, all those teams in the Victorian NPL 1. There's no reason why, we can't at least push. That I'm envious of that they have that. It's fantastic. Big, strong clubs support. Zagreb has the culture. We haven't had the facilities. We haven't had that infrastructure. It's here now for us. We need to use it, and we need to get the best out of it and actually push and get into these, at least NPL2 and push and, have two Croatian teams in higher leagues because, why not?
Absolutely.
And they're both playing home games on artificial surfaces, and some of the grounds are still terrible. Some of the grounds are, aren't artificial, etc. Which do you prefer now? After all those years of playing on grass.
I prefer good grass. Doesn't really exist.
Yeah, it's not a thing yet.
And I also prefer good artificial. I don't know how regulated some of these pitches are. I'm not going to call other teams out, but I swear some of them are more tennis courts than football fields. But a good artificial or good grass, I'm happy with either.
I think our pitch is definitely up there in terms of the best artificials that you'll see around. Rockdale's pretty good. We were there before as well. But there's definitely some horrible pitches in Sydney that you play on. So we're pretty lucky.
Yeah.
And how are you guys going with the 30 rounds this year? It's a lot more football than you've ever been used to, right? You started in February, so...
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I
Long
think
season.
it's, what is it, round 23 this weekend. So the season will be over, right? So it's just adding, a bit of fatigue. Just the body hurts. So we've got to buy this week. That's good. We're just rejuvenating. We're not doing nothing this weekend. We're giving the weekend off. Maybe the boys will go play golf, a bit of a bonding session. Just
Bit of team bonding.
But yeah, it's tough. It is. I mean, if you told me that, I'm 30 now. So if you told me that when I was 19, 20, I probably would have loved it. But telling me I'm going to play 30 games now is, it's tough. But that's why you need a big squad. You need depth, and you need a good young core. And our 18s and our 20s have done really well this year. So we need to share the load because it is a lot.
Yeah, and it gets a lot harder as well because a lot of Croatians like to travel back to Croatia.
Yeah.
So we've got a lot that have headed back overseas. So definitely need a big squad, especially for these 30 rounds, as you said, and it's a big commitment.
We've got a question from Kobe Joe Verkic saying, any recommendations for penalty techniques?
I saw that on the top right. I was gonna ignore that one. So hopefully you didn't bring it up. I missed my first penalty.
Can't now.
missed my first penalty this year of my life, and none of the boys have let me live it down. So
I won that penalty, so he owes me an assist for that as well. So
Goodness gracious. Let me tell you, I mean, it's an absolute joy to watch you guys, play week in, week out. I mean, and obviously at a facility like Penzus Park. So good on you, and all the best to Hurstville Zagreb. Any shout outs that you'd like to make? Obviously, we've spoken to your dad, but your mum is just as involved as your dad is with the club and, at the canteen or whatever the case may be. You've got a lot of special people around the club, don't you?
That's a really good point. She doesn't get much of the limelight, but she is a massive sort of part of this whole thing, and a lot of the behind the work scene, just the secretarial work for NPL, and this stuff goes without getting noticed. And all the ladies that work in the canteen, they're unbelievable. What they do and the sacrifice you see week in, week out, what happens. And we always thank them internally, but I'm glad you mentioned that because it gives us an opportunity to thank them, with Tanya and Marina, my mum, and all that. And what they do is just, it's special. It allows us to do what we do, and the club's growing now, but, we really relied on that side of things before. So, very, very special. So we appreciate what they do, and just the whole community is in general. That we're growing now with this NPL. It's all flashy, Penzus Park, but we are that community, and that's who we represent. So we thank all those people, and we want to grow the club and make them all proud, and thank them for their work. And the best way to do that is keep pushing, get results, and do what we can do on and off the pitch, and just take Zagreb as far as we can possibly get it.
Fantastic, gents. Thank you for being a part of this week's show. Really, really enjoyed me being a Victorian out of towner, so getting to know the real intricate details, the inside of Zagreb Hurstville. I appreciated that, and I appreciated you guys coming on the show. And thank you, Ante, for organising it, by the way.
Oh, no problem. Yeah, me and Johnny have been speaking for a few weeks, actually. So, I'm glad that it came to fruition. And and to get 4 people on as well, I mean, thank you so much for your time. Really, really appreciate it.
Good on you. Thank you for the platform to sort of talk about the club. We appreciate it, Ante. Thanks for your support. As always, man, we appreciate it. Thanks.
Good on you. Jesse Gagro and Paul Gagro there from Zagreb Hurstville Football Club. For us out of towners, where is that located? Is it in the west, the inner west?
Southern suburbs. Southern
suburbs.
So we've got Hurstville Zagreb, and then we've got St. George also. So they actually share the same home ground. Then there's the old St. George, which is not too far, which obviously used to be in the NSL. Then we've got Rockdale. And then we've got Sutherland just down the road. So it's a very big hotbed of football in this whole area.
Oh, there you go. All right. Well, thank you, folks, for being. That brings us to the end of this week's show. Thank you for being a part of this show. But before we do go, we do need sponsors. We really do need sponsors. This is episode 14. Next week will be episode 15, and then we will be taking a short week break, 1 week off break after that. And then we would like to get another 10 episodes, at least, ideally 30 episodes like we did last year, but we do need your support. And in order to do that, we do need supporters, be it business sponsors like Slavicek Studio Architecture and Corsa Hair Salon. Thank you to those guys, but thank you to both of those guys, and to Ned from Corsa Hair Studio. He had a big occasion on the weekend. He attended a wedding apparently, and this girl that was at the wedding, he was the first hairdresser to cut her hair when she was a little girl, and now he did her hair and when she was getting married. What a great story that is.
So cool.
And also to a former Sydney boy, Robert Slavicek, who's doing some amazing things in the field of architecture, Slavicek Studio Architecture. A big shout out and a big thank you to those two gentlemen and their businesses. But we do need sponsors, whether it's a business sponsor, whether it's a club sponsor, an episode sponsor, and your club can come on the show just like Zagreb Hurstville did tonight. We do need your support. So the best way to do that is to contact us. Contact Ante if you know Ante personally up in Sydney, or contact myself. There's the email ozcrosoccershow@gmail.com. That's easy. ozcrosoccershow@gmail.com. Shouldn't do this, but I am doing it. Or call me on 0402 012 716. No prank calls, whatever they used to call them back in the day. But thank you once again to Zagreb Hurstville for being a part of tonight's show. Ante, good night, mate, and we'll see you next week.
That's
Another
right.
big show expected next week.
Absolutely.
Huge.
It always is.
Yeah.
I mean, I look forward to it every Wednesday.
Lots happening, and hopefully next week we may even have a live cross to the Melbourne Knights Stadium, where Melbourne Knights will be taking on Oakley Cannons in the semi-final of the Doherty Cup. So we may even have a live cross to Knights Stadium that night. So like we did with Mile Abramovic from Sydney United a couple of weeks back as well. So that will be something to look forward to. Folks, good night, and thank you once again for being a part of our show. Bye-bye.
Laku noć.